And thank you for hosting this conference. It's extremely important for Palestine and for the women of Palestine, for the women all over the world, I would say. And thank you for inviting me. I'm French, as you said, and I live in France. And I've been a long life member of the Solidarity movement for Palestine. I belong to an association called France-Palestine Solidarity, and there are more than 5,000 of us, more than 100 groups locally, and a lot of us are women, which is great and makes it work pretty well. So I'm going to tell you what we do in terms of solidarity in France, if you like. We do a lot of lobbying to begin with. So at the national and local levels, we lobby our members of parliaments and Senate. We lobby our local authorities, the government, of course, and the media. And you know, like me, that the media is not necessarily sympathetic to the cause. Parallel with the lobbying work, and all of us do it, there's the awareness campaigns that we run all the time. So this means solidarity actions, of course. It can be organizing street demonstrations, debates, webinars in a time of pandemic like now, and a lot of BDS actions against notably the products from the illegal Israeli settlements in Palestine. And we also focus on culture because we think, and lots of our Palestinian friends with us think, that culture is an important weapon in the Palestinian resistance. So it goes around showing films and discussing the situation, exhibition, music, concerts, and things. We also have one important axis of our action, which is prisoners. We think it's extremely important to raise the question of prisoners all the time. And we have this program of sponsoring a political prisoner. I mean, all Palestinian prisoners are political prisoners. Now, we have partnerships in Palestine, of course. We go and they come whenever possible. We know it's sometimes very difficult, but still. For example, my own group, I live in the west of France, has a partnership with a refugee camp near Ramallah, the camp of Jalazon. And we have been working with them for a few years now and trying to bring help and to raise awareness here about the plight of the refugees and the rights of the refugees. With all these actions, we explain the occupation, we explain the siege, the violence of the settlers and the army, all the violations of international law. And we try to show that all this is criminal. Whereas the Palestinian resistance is not only legal, it's a right, and I would even say a duty in terms of international law. I would say that the French population usually reacts very positively to our actions. Most of them are sympathetic and quite well informed, but certainly not in detail. So this is where our intervention is really important. I would say globally that the French population is eager for justice. So, you know, it echoes the demands of the Palestinian people. Unfortunately, there is a very strong pro-Israel lobby in France. And unfortunately, also, they are very influential with some politicians, you know, particularly those in the corridors of power. And we have to fight their influence, which we do. Talking about the government, officially, they stand by the position of two states with Jerusalem as a shared capital. They say that they defend international law. You probably know that France is a member of the Security Council of the United Nations, and as such has to guarantee the law, international law. Unfortunately, it's a lot of words, but very, very few actions. Particularly when you say that you want a two-state solution, the idea would be at least to recognize two states, and France has not yet recognized Palestine. So we push, and we push, and we push, and we will continue to push. But I believe that with the annexation looming now, the Jordan Valley annexation, things are changing a bit. And we can see that the discourse of our officials is getting stronger, more vehement in a way. It's the same with the European Union, sorry. And hopefully they will really consider that the green line has been crossed, red line has been crossed, and take two actions. Talking about the European Union, we also work with other countries, of course. There are solidarity movements all over Europe, in the northern countries, Scandinavia, in Britain, Ireland, Spain, Italy, and we coordinate with them for awareness campaigns. And it is with them that we went to the European Court of Justice. I don't know, maybe you've heard about that. It's a really big victory that we've won very recently. France had accused activists of anti-Semitism, as usual, over BDS actions 10 years ago. And after a long trial and all the process, of appeal and everything, the activists went to the European Court of Justice, and they won. We won because we were with them in this action. So France has been asked to withdraw, of course, the accusation, to pay money to the activists, and to say officially that BDS is legal, which is really a victory. To finish with the various actions that we undertake, there is this Flotilla aspect that you mentioned to begin with. We have been members of the International Coalition for the Flotilla since 2010. And we were, of course, particularly aware of the horror that took place on the Mavi Marmara, and lobbied our government to ask them to do something about it. And since then, we've been continuing to try to get to Gaza. I myself was in the 2011 flotilla that went to international water and was attacked and kidnapped in international waters, and will continue. And the coalition is continuing now. It is preparing, it should have been in May actually. It is preparing a mission for the autumn because we had to postpone it. So this is extremely important for to bring forth the message of the illegality and inhumanity of the siege of Gaza. To conclude, I would say that I will assure you that solidarity is really strong in France and in the European population at large, with the children, the women and the men of Palestine. And I would like to insist on the women, the role they play in the resistance, in everyday resistance, and coordinating the life of the families and the society and keeping the structure going is immense. So my admiration and respect go to them. As we know that they are so strong, so must we be strong. And we must do absolutely everything we can to force our leaderships to take action and to stop Israel's criminal policy. Palestine has been occupied, besieged, attacked for more than 70 years. That's enough. So with you and wishing you a very, very good conference, I will say free, free Palestine. Thank you.